So let's talk about density. Density is a property which describes how much mass is contained in a certain volume. We generally report the density for solids and liquids with units of grams per milliliter. In other words, how much mass is contained in 1 milliliter of substance. Since gases have a much lower density, or there's far less mass for every 1 milliliter, we typically report the density of a gas in units of grams per liter. Now, density is an intensive property, meaning the density of a substance is the same for every sample of substance no matter how much you have. Let's consider the density of liquid mercury, which is about 13.6 grams per milliliter. If you have 1 milliliter of mercury, that sample has a mass of 13.6 grams. If you have 8.5 milliliters of liquid mercury, that sample is 115.6 grams. Density is the best way to convert between mass and volume of a substance when applied as a conversion factor in dimensional analysis. The density can also be a useful tool when identifying and comparing two different substances. A common method of liquid separation in the laboratory utilizes the densities of the liquids to determine which liquid is on bottom or on top. The liquid with the higher density will be the liquid on the bottom. The difference in density also accounts for items which float in water, like wood or a cork. A cork's density is about 0.25 grams per milliliter, compared to the density of water at 1 gram per milliliter. Since liquid mercury has a much higher density than water, it would sink to the bottom in a glass of water. The density of a sample of brass is about 8.7 grams per milliliter, so it would sink in the water, but it would still float on the liquid mercury. Another way to compare the densities of substances is to refer to the specific gravity of a substance. The specific gravity is simply the ratio of the density of a substance to the density of pure water at 4 degrees, which is 1 gram per milliliter. This is a common diagnostic tool in the healthcare industry as a snapshot of the composition of blood or urine. Specific gravity does not have units, since the units of density cancel when you go to divide.